Hello, my name is Eric Henderson, and this is me Story. I primarily speak English because it's my L1. However, my English is varied into several accents such as Southern and Tidewater. There's also some Pidgin that's blended in as well. All this is due to environmental factors of where I grew up in southeastern Virginia and where I'm living now. I used to think that I did not have a trace of a Southern accent left, but upon further investigation of my personal phonetics, I found that the words pen and pen are still pronounced similarly instead of pen and pin, which is a common trait of the Southern accent. There is also the Tidewater dialect, which is very specific to the southeastern part of Virginia, something that I thought I did not have. However, upon further review, I found that some of the words in my vocabulary that are region-specific, such as the pronunciation of this city's name, are pronounced with the Tidewater accent. Most people say Norfolk, but if you grew up in this region, it's Norfolk. Another surprising factor is how I acquired speaking Pidgin. This only happened after I decided that I would leave the military and live here for an extended period of time, which is when the assimilation started to happen, ending questions with "yeah" or starting sentences when there's surprise off with "ho." This also explains why I didn't acquire much pieces of dialects from other areas that I was stationed in before, such as Philadelphia and Detroit, which both have very distinct dialects. I attribute this to how insular the military community tends to be and how I was until I decided to settle down. There have been other interesting linguistic aspects of my life that I lend to environmental settings, such as the morphology of my grandfather's nickname, Daddy Bob, which is a compound of Daddy, which my mother calls him, and Bob, what my grandmother calls him. This happened around ages 2 and 3. But he wasn't around much, so I learned his name by these references and gave him the name Daddy Bob. The acquisition and loss of hundreds of words of military jargon is something else that I found interesting. Words like Semper P, turn and burn, pulled chocks, bulkhead, deck, overhead, tweet, knuckle dragger, unknown rider, angels, cherubs, out, Wilco are words that I no longer have in my active vocabulary. However, some of these words have survived, such as Roger, head, situational awareness, but they're seldomly used. Outside of my L1, I have an L2 of Spanish that I'm still developing, and I found some interesting pragmatics in my early acquisition, such as the downgrading of my politeness subconsciously. English, I would say, can I have or do you have, but it would turn into I need or I want in Spanish. This is because I'm still gaining grammatical competence needed to form this type of syntax. Today it's interesting to look back at what I thought was a boring linguistic life to something that's much more fulfilling. Thank you and have a nice day.